नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भगवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्टिकी। Hare Krishna. Today we completing 10th chapter of Canto first. Today we try to understand shloka number 34 to 36. Kurujāṅgala Pāñcālān
कुरुजांगल पांचालान
Śūrasenān Yamunān
शूरसेनान सयामुनान
Brahma Avartam Kurukṣetram
ब्रह्मावर्तम कुरुक्षेत्रम
Matsyan Sārasvatān Atha
मत्स्यान सारस्वतान अथ
Marudhanvan Atikramya
मरुधन्वन अतिक्रम्य
Sauvīra Ābhīrayo Parān
सौवीर आभीरयोः पुरान्
अनर्थान् भार्गव उपगच्छात
आनर्तान् भार्गव उपगच्छात
अन्तवाह मनाक् विभुः
अंतमानः
वाह
अंतवाह मनाक् विभुः
तत्र 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 इति हरिः
तत्र तत्र हि हरिः
प्रद्युत प्रद्युत अर्हणः
प्रद्युत अर्हणः
सायं भेजे दिशं पश्चात्
सायं भेजे दिशं पश्चात्
गविष्ठः गां गतः तदा
कविष्टः गां गतः तदा
कुरुजाङ्गल पाञ्चालान्
कुरुजांगल पांचालान्
शूरसेनान् स यामुनान्
शूरसेनान् स यमुनान्
ब्रह्म आवर्तं कुरुक्षेत्रं
ब्रह्मावर्तं कुरुक्षेत्रं
मत्सानं सारस्वतान् अथ
मत्स्यान् सारस्वतान् अथ
मरुधन्वन् अतिक्रम्य
मरुधन्वम् अतिक्रम्य
सौवीर आभिरयो परान्
सौवीर आभीरयोः परान्
आनर्तान् भार्गव उपगच्छान्
आनर्तान् भार्गव
उपगात्
उपगात्
शान्तवाह मनाक् विभुः
श्रान्तवाहो मना विभुः
तत्र तत्र
तत्र तैः
हरिः प्रत्युत अर्हणः
हरैः प्रत्युत अर्हणः
सायं भेजे दिशं पश्चात्
सायं भेजे दिशं पश्चात्
गविष्ठः गां गतः तदा
कविष्टः गां गतः तदा
कुरुजाङ्गल पाञ्चालान् शूरसेनान् स यामुनान् ब्रह्मावर्तं कुरुक्षेत्रं मत्स्यान् सारस्वतान् अथ मरुधन्वन् अतिक्रम्य सौवीर आविरयो परान् आनर्तान् भार्गव उपगात शान्तवाह मनाक् विभुः तत्र तत्रैति हरिः प्रत्युत अर्हणः सायं भेजे दिशं पश्चात् कविष्ठः गां गतः तदा
कुरुजांगल पांचालान् शूरसेनान् सयामुनान् ब्रह्म आवर्तं कुरुक्षेत्रं मत्स्यान् सारस्वतान् अथ मरुधन्वम् अतिक्रम्य सौवीर आभिरयोः परान् आनर्तान् भार्गव उपगात शान्तवाहो मनाक् विभुः तत्र त्रैः हरिः प्रत्युत अर्हणः सायं भेजे दिशं पश्चात् अगविष्टो गां गतः तदा।
आशीष प्रभु जी।
कुरुजांगल पांचालां सुरसेनान् सयामुनान् ब्रह्मवर्तां कुरुक्षेत्रां मत्स्यान् सरस्वतान् अथ मरुधन्वम् अतिक्रम्य सौवीर्या परान् अनार्बतन् भार्गव उपगाच्छ श्रान्तवाहो मनाक् विभुः तत्र तत्रत्यैर्हरिः प्रत्युद्यतरः हना सायं भेजे दिशं पश्चात् गाविष्ठो गाम गतस्तदा। हरि कृष्ण।
कृपामयी माताजी।
कृष्ण दंडरत्नम। कुरुचंगल पंचालान सूरसीनान सयमुनान ब्रह्मवत्ताम कुरुक्षेत्रम मत्स्यान सरस्वतीन अता मरुदन्वन अतिक्रम्य सौवीर्य अभिरव परान अनर्थान भार्गवा उपदात् श्रांता बाहा मानिक विभुः तत्र तत्र तत्रेयि हरिः प्रत्युद्य आर्कः सायं बीजी ईशां पश्चात् गाविस्तः गम कतस्तता। थैंक यू।
पूनम माताजी।
हरे कृष्ण माता जी।
हरे कृष्ण।
कुरुजांगला पांचालन सुरसेनन सायमुनन ब्रह्मवर्तम कुरुक्षेत्रम मत्स्यायन सारस्वतन अथः मारुधन्वम धन्वम अतिक्रम्य सौवीर अभीर्योपरान अनर्तन भार्गव उपगच्छ चान्तवाहो मनाग विभुः तत्र तत्र तत्रैर्हरि प्रद्युत अर्णः सायं भेजे दिशं पश्चात् गविष्ठो गम गतस्तदा।
माला माताजी। If you like to read. Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Shaunaka, the Lord then proceeded towards Kurujāṅgala, Pāñcālā, Śūrasenā, the land on the bank of the river Yamunā, Brahmāvarta, Kurukṣetra, Matsya, Sārasvata, the province of the desert and the land of the scanty water. After crossing these provinces, he gradually reached the Sauvīra and Ābhīra provinces. Then west of this, reached Dvārakā at last. On his journey through these provinces, he was welcomed, worshipped, and given various presentations in the evening in all places. The Lord suspended his journey to perform evening rites. This was regularly observed after sunset. Purport by the Srila Prabhupada. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The provinces passed over by the Lord in those days were differently named, but the direction given is sufficient to indicate that he traveled through Delhi, Punjab, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Saurastra and Gujarat, at last reached his home province at Dvārakā. We do not gain any profit simply by researching the analogous provinces of those days up to now, but it appears that the desert of Rajasthan and the provinces of scanty water like Madhya Pradesh were present even 5,000 years ago. The theory of soil expert that the desert developed in recent years is not supported by the statements of Bhagavatam. We may leave the matter of expert geologists to research because the changing universe has different phases of geological development. We are satisfied that the Lord has now reached his own province, Dvārakā. From the Kuru provinces, Kurukṣetra continues to exist since the Vedic age, and it is sheer foolishness when interpreters ignore or deny the existence of Kurukṣetra. It is said here that the Lord observed the religious principles regularly while he was on the journey. There are certain philosophical speculations that even the Lord is under the obligations of free to action. But actually, this is not the case. He does not depend on the action of any good or bad work. Since the Lord is absolute, everything done by him is good for everyone. But when he descends to the earth, he acts for the protection of the devotees and for the annihilation of the impious non-devotees. Although he has no obligatory duty, still he does not everything so that others may follow. That is the way of actual teaching. One must act properly himself and teach the same to others. Otherwise, no one will accept one's blind teaching. He is himself the awarder of result. He is self-sufficient, and yet he acts according to the rulings of the revealed scriptures in order to teach us the process. If he does not do so, the common man may go wrong. But in the advanced stage, when one can understand the transcendental nature of the Lord, one does not try to imitate him. This is not possible. The Lord in human society does not does what is the duty of everyone, but sometimes he does something extraordinary and not to be imitated by the living being. His acts of evening prayer, as stated herein, must be followed by the living being, but it is not possible to follow his mountain lifting or dancing with gopis. One cannot imitate the sun, which can exhaust water even from a filthy place. The most powerful can do something which is all good, but our imitation of such acts will put us into endless difficulty. Therefore, in all action, the experienced guide, the spiritual master, who is the manifested mercy of the Lord, should always be consulted, and the path of progress will be assured. Thus, end the Bhakti Vedanta purport of the first canto, 10th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Departure of Lord Krishna for Dvārakā. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuttapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavancha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam tam sajivam sadvaitam savadutam parijana saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitancha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे पांचाकल्पतरुवे च कृपा सिंधुवे एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे. हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे. हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Today we try to understand the shloka number 34 to 36 of chapter 10, Skand first. Here they giving about the traveling, how do travel Krishna to go Dvārakā, and which countries or which Pradesh they visited, and how their people welcoming him. All these are describing in 3 shlokas. Prabhuji will tell us in detail again.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So here we are seeing that now Shaunak Rishi is explaining to all the sages who have gathered about how Krishna, having taken the leave of all the residents of Hastinapur, having ensured that though the Pandavas did not want to go with a heavy heart, he took their goodbyes, asked them to go back, and then along with his limited persons, he started his journey back to Dvārika. Mr. Maharaj had done his activity out of goodwill, out of his duty. He had ensured that there was Chaturanginihi, the four layers of the army were accompanying Krishna, so that any untoward incidents could be avoided. Now, unlike what we travel nowadays by, say, a mechanized four-wheeler, two-wheeler, three-wheeler, or maybe a train, maybe a super fast train, in few days, maybe a bullet train, or maybe by flight. The journey is generally completed in few hours, or at the most a couple of days. But here what we see is, when Krishna traveled from Hastinapur, the Kurukṣetra, down to Dvārakā, it was a long journey, being covered on his chariot, accompanied by the Chaturangini and his other paraphernalia. So he had to pass a lot of reasons. So though Prabhupada ji gives an explanation of how the states that are called in the shloka, they are exactly matched or analogous to the different states in India today, but still he makes it very clear. This is not we are interested in. So Kurujāṅgala, Pāñcālā, Śūrasenā, which is a land on the bank of river Yamunā, or then Brahmāvarta, Kurukṣetra, Matsya, Sārasvata, and then the desert, the province of the desert, the land of scanty water. That is what Sārasvata was. And then he reached Sauvīra and then Ābhīra, and then on the west was Dvārakā at the last. So this is the journey, which is clearly explained here. So indirectly what it means is, it is sufficient that he traveled from Delhi, Punjab, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Saurastra, Gujarat, and reached Dvārakā. But then we are not here to research these analogous provinces. Because what is important for us as devotees is that Krishna has finally reached his own province, Dvārakā Dham, from the Kuru province. This is important. And on the way, wherever he was traveling, so we are seeing that nearly 11 different states have been named here. So in those days, they were not states, they were individual countries. So each one of them welcomed Krishna. In each of the places, Krishna was worshipped, and in each of the places, Krishna was given various presentations. And after traveling throughout the day, in each of the places, it is mentioned that in the evening, he used to stop the journey, suspend. Let us do the evening activities, the evening rites. Because these are the activities which are to be observed regularly after sunset. So, this shlok becomes important for us. It's not from the aspect that historically what has happened, but practically what Krishna wants us to understand from these shlokas. So, very first thing which becomes very clear is, whatever the modern scientists are trying to say, the geologists are trying to say that maybe the Rajasthan desert has developed recently, that is not true, because Bhagavatam has shown that it existed even in those days. But maybe the geologists will do the research further. The geologists say Sārasvata river we are not seeing today, but now through advanced technologies they have found the stream of the Sārasvata river under the current soil. So again, it proves that whatever is in Bhagavatam is the truth. And that is what we learned in the first two chapters of Bhagavatam. How to study Bhagavatam, how to learn. What is the quality of a listener? The first quality is that he is surrendered. Second, he believes that whatever is given in Bhagavatam is truth. And third, he listens from a teacher who is coming in parampara. Three very important qualities: humility, surrenderance, full faith, and listening, Shrunvata. And that is what is going to be the truth. So we are going to be satisfied that now Lord has reached Dvārakā. And Kurukṣetra continues to exist even now, right from the Vedic ages. So if someone is saying that there is no existence of Kurukṣetra, then it is foolishness. So you have to just ignore such persons. So this is part A of our studies. What is more important is how Krishna is an ideal to follow. Ideally, Krishna is Parameshwar, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has got to do nothing. If he had desired simply by his will, within a second, he would have transmaterialized and reached Dvārakā. In any case, he was already there in 16,108 expansions with each of his wives, fulfilling the duty as a husband. So how difficult was it for him to move from Kurukṣetra to Dvārakā? But still, he wanted to show what is the ideal way to travel. And even if you are traveling, what is the importance of your Sandhya? Sandhya means the evening rites. That is why you will see that everywhere, wherever he went, he stopped the procession. He completed his post-sunset, whatever are the Sandhya activities. And then in the morning, he started afresh. So today, while giving offerings to His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj on his 75th appearance day, His Grace Madan Sundar Prabhuji gave a very good, what I'll say, narration about his experience. So Maharaj was giving class and Prabhuji was one of the listeners. And then after 12, ideally it is a time to do Gayatri. So when the time was 12:15 or something, he excused himself, he went to a corner, he sat and he started doing his Gayatri. After some time, he opened his eyes and he saw that everyone in the auditorium, in that place where the lecture was happening, everyone was looking at him. And Madan Sundar Prabhuji was confused. Have I done any mistake? Why are everyone looking at me? What have I done? And he thought, ab kya karu? And then when he saw on the side, Maharaj was sitting on his side and he was also doing his Gayatri. And after finishing Gayatri, Maharaj said, Prabhu, you are an Acharya. And Prabhuji said, oh, Maharaj, what are you saying? You are the Acharya. I am a Shishya. So Maharaj said, no. With your example, you have reminded me that this is the time to do Gayatri. So you are Acharya. Acharati. It is Acharya. One who shows by his example is Acharya. And Krishna is actually trying to prove that thing, same thing here. Otherwise, for him, he is absolute. He does not depend on action of any good or bad work. Whatever he does is good for everyone. But when he descends to earth, Krishna acts for the protection of devotees and annihilation of the impious persons. So though he has no obligatory duty, still he is doing everything so that others may follow. And this is the factual teaching, the way of factual teaching. One must act properly himself and teach the same to others. Otherwise, no one will accept one's blind teaching. Krishna ideally is himself the awarder of fruitive results. He is self-sufficient, Atmaram, and yet he acts according to the rulings of the revealed scriptures in order to teach us the process. If he does not do so, then common people like us can go wrong. So it is very important that we follow the acharyas. And all the acharyas, they follow their own acharyas and everyone follows through the Guru Shishya Parampara. And where does it start? Krishna. So everyone is following whatever Krishna has said. That is why Arjuna also said, Karishye tava vachanam. I remember here one of the stories of a very good preacher who used to go to different places to preach. And then he was very famous. And people used to come to take his blessings. So one day, a lady came with her around 7, 8 years old child and told him, "Oh Prabhu, please do something for my child. Please tell him something. He continuously eats sweet things." So the preacher said, "Mataji, don't worry. I'll talk to him. You please come after 1 week." And the Mataji went back. And then after 1 week, she came again with complete hope in her eyes, with her child by the side. And she said, "Maharaj, please tell something to my child." And the preacher said, "Dear child, please do not eat sweet things." And the Mataji was aghast. Prabhuji was to say only this thing to the child. So she was hoping that he will give him some knowledge, he will give him some Shastrik Updesh, some Shastrik examples, stories to convince. But he said only one sentence. So there was question mark on her face. So after everyone had gone, she approached him. You said only one sentence. Why did you say that last week itself? Why had you to wait for 1 week and come again? So then he apologized and said, "Mataji, I also was used to eating sweets. So if I were to tell your child not to eat sweets last week, it would not have been wrong. I gave up eating sweets, no more sugar. And now, when I could do it, then I am telling the child. I cannot say something which I don't follow." And the lady was actually crying by seeing the dedication of what he was saying. And the effect of the child was he immediately gave up that habit. So if you are trying to say something to someone and he is not listening, then it means that it is a mistake on our part. We ourselves are not convinced, we ourselves are not following it properly. And in Kali Yuga, these are one of the 4 mistakes which are known for human beings. And Krishna wanted that to be proven. No, this should not continue. And that is why he himself became an example of what is the importance of the Sandhya. So he himself acted according to the rulings of the revealed scriptures, and he has taught us the process. So the moment we become better devotees, the moment we'll get realization of Krishna and he will reveal himself to us. Swayameva Spurtevada. Maybe in the advanced stage, we can understand the transcendental nature of the Lord. And then we'll come to the conclusion that we should not imitate Krishna. Because some things Krishna does are extraordinary, not to be imitated. So when he's acting as a evening prayer, it is to be followed. But we should not be trying to follow his lifting of the Govardhan hill or the gopis. Just like we cannot imitate sun, which can remove water even from filthy place, the most powerful can do something which is all good. But our imitation will put us into endless difficulty. So we follow only that, what Krishna wants us to follow with his example. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya.